everybody. It is officially Halloween, so happy Halloween. I'm probably going to start Nonfiction November a little bit early. I don't think that any of the books on my TBR have an audiobook that I can access, and so I want to be able to basically dedicate as much time to them as I can, because I'm gonna have to read them all physically, which means that I will read them a little bit slower, and I don't want to start any more fiction right now that I won't finish, because I do want to read mostly nonfiction in November. So I am thinking that like the memoirs will probably read the fastest. So I'm wondering if whether La Cara Woman or Down These Mean Streets will be my first pick, but one of those two will probably be my first pick. It's a little bit late. It's like 1:30 in the morning or something like that. So probably won't get a whole lot read, but I am about to move things over to bed so that I can start to like unwind and go to sleep. So I'll grab one of those two, and yeah, I will let you know what I think about it once I've gotten, a couple chapters in. Hello everybody. So I have shifted a little bit away from the library book to focus more on Fantasy Island, which I have been trying to read for like a year now. I'm about 200 pages in, and it's okay. It's okay. There is a lot of like economics jargon that I think is not properly explained, that I think is sort of assumed that you either know more about it or are gonna do like external research, which fine, but if someone isn't going to do that and it's just looking to read this one book, you're not doing a good job of teaching them. I really don't think so. I think in the beginning was okay, though sometimes a little repetitive, and the ending hopefully will get better. I basically, I think he does best when he's not really talking about the finances, just because I don't think he's doing a good job of explaining it. But yeah, I mean, like I said, overall it's okay. I feel like maybe for a book about this, I just need to pick books that the single book talks about like a topic, and then just maybe be more like micro for me to be able to better understand it, and for me to just think that it's done better. I don't know. We'll see. I feel like this is both too broad and too specific at the same time. But yeah, we'll see. And I think at times his own particular biases come into play. Like, I think sometimes he'll be considering an issue with like the independence movement, and he'll think about like, well, maybe it's this or this as the only two options why they're not garnering more support, but not really considering that maybe just the people don't want it, which I'm not saying is what I think, but I'm saying like I think you have to think about the topic in a more like overall, like comprehensive way. But yeah, I mean, like I guess I am learning, but I'm not as compelled as I was hoping that I would be when I first got this book. It can be very like journalistic at times. So yeah, I mean his writing is okay, but it's not like amazingly compelling either. So yeah, I would say this is okay, but not like amazing like I was hoping that it would be. And if there was an audiobook, I would have just recommended that rather than the physical, because it's taking me forever. Hola, hola everybody. It is November 24th at 12:18 p.m. I got the day off, which was a very nice surprise because I thought I was only gonna have Thursday, Friday off. It's the day before Thanksgiving, and I don't really have anything to update you on because I have not been reading. I don't really know what's been going on. I just haven't really been focused on reading. I haven't really been invested in reading, and I think it might just be because the books that I had, I guess they were last on my TBR for nonfiction because I wasn't feeling compelled to read them, and I guess I'm not super compelled to read them, so I have off the rest of today and tomorrow and Friday and Saturday and Sunday, so I'm gonna try and like plow through and see, but I'm not gonna really super duper make myself. If I just really find that there's just nothing that I really want to continue reading, I'm just gonna DNF them and maybe call this Nonfiction November not as successful as I wish, which is, you know, happens. I also have I have a fiction book that I have to read for this month because of my monthly like real life book club. That meeting is for Sunday, and that is for Firekeeper's Daughter, so I will have to separate some time aside from Nonfiction November to read that. I do have the audiobook, so that should hopefully go pretty quickly, and shouldn't take away too much time from reading my nonfiction, but who knows, we'll see. Kind of bummed, but I do have some amazing nonfiction set up for next year, like that I bought this year that would go for next year. So I mean, if they happen to still be around in my TBR by the time next November comes around, it should be a much nicer nonfiction November. But yeah, I think I just need to be. I think I have gotten much better at picking books. These I've had for a while, and yeah, I mean, I think I get better at picking books for myself the more time goes on. So maybe these are just some leftovers from the time when I was only a little okay. Hello. So it's almost midnight, and I finally finished Fantasy Island by Ed Morales, and it took the second to last page for him to say like definitively what he thinks the future for Puerto Rico should be, and he claims independence with reparations. I don't know, I'm probably just incredibly jaded, but does anybody actually see that happening? Does anybody actually see the U.S. paying Puerto Rico reparations? I mean, I don't know. I don't personally know where I stand on the subject. It's part of why I'm doing these readings, because I want to make a decision myself. But yeah, I mean, he says a lot of things which are exactly the types of questions that I have and make me think that this is a pipe dream. He's like, of course, independence can be a scary prospect. There is not really an organized conception of what a free and fair economy would look like in the Caribbean today. The decline of the pink tide in Latin America has left us with standoff between new rightists, either moderate or authoritarian governments, and increasingly under siege, defensive and freedom-restricting left of authoritarianism. There are so many staggering questions. What economic system do you opt for? Who do you put in charge to run a democratic socialist government? What is the end game of globalized capital? Have social democratic states failed because they have retained capitalism as their operative economic system? We can decolonize, but it's still possible that decolonization can leave us in the same exploitative structure in place in the political and economic systems. To make Puerto Rico a vanguard state, a new dynamic power in the Caribbean, it needs to develop an innovative economic system that seeks to democratize workplace decisions, take advantage of relationships with local Caribbean economies, make social justice issues a central part of the state ideology, focus on funding health care and cultural production, encourage bilingualism, create a new self-sustaining agricultural models, and revise its nationalist ideology to include a pan-Caribbean Afro-diasporic vision, violence against women, which has reached unacceptable levels, and reactionary proposals to roll back LGBTQ rights must be strongly opposed. I mean, you wrote 2 paragraphs on it, dude, and then you ended the book. Because you don't have anything concrete to add to that statement. Or you would have written it. So, I don't know. Am I jaded? Yeah, perhaps. But I mean, yeah, it was an okay book. Moving on, I guess. Hola, this is Editing Roxanne, and I realized that for some reason a lot of clips are missing, which is really, really frustrating. So I skim read the second half of the library book, the library history book. It was interesting, but not, like, I just wasn't in the mood for it, and I'm wondering if there's something that out there that might be more compelling than that one. I think there's a brand new history about libraries book that came out that I think was in Olive's TBR that I might get. This one, I mean, in the intro, the author states that it's not really meant to be super comprehensive. He just wants to talk about, like, the sort of markers of change with regards to libraries, which I think he was doing that pretty well, and it was interesting. Like I said, I just kind of wasn't in the mood for it. Down These Mean Streets I thought was only okay. I don't really see it as a classic. I don't think the writing was magnificent or anything like that. I did sort of appreciate him grappling with his blackness and the anti-blackness in the Latinx community. But I think overall it kind of just, like, was for naught. I didn't leave the book really feeling any sort of special way at all. So I think there are better Latinx memoirs out there. I think there might be better, like, Afro Latinx memoirs out there. Definitely newer ones that might be more nuanced and better written. So that's just my opinion. La Cara Woman, I really enjoyed. It was heartbreaking. I learned so much. You just grow to appreciate so much their plight and everything that they go through. And it was interesting because, so I read that at the beginning of Nonfiction November, and then at the end of Nonfiction November, I actually had a fiction book that I had to read, which was Firekeeper's Daughter, for my in-person book club, which is actually not in person, it's virtual, but whatever. My like non-work book club, non-work, non-booktube book club. And of so much of what I learned about in Lakota Woman was present in Firekeeper's Daughter. So I think if you happen to have both at your disposal, it would really be great to read one and then the other. To read Lakota Woman and then Firekeeper's Daughter. I think, you know, it's just kind of like, it was a good comparison, learning about what 49ers were, or what a 49er is, and about the like horrible schools that the kids were forced to go to, and the different sort of politics and laws that affect reservations and natives, and the different federal organizations that are supposed to help but not really. So yeah, it was really interesting to sort of see all of those components that I learned about, kind of brought to life in a different way through this fiction novel. So that was very interesting. I really enjoyed it. I think of all of the things that I read for Nonfiction November, Lakota Woman is definitely my favorite, and it's the one that I would recommend the most. I wouldn't say if you haven't picked up Down These Mean Streets, don't bother. Fantasy Island, there are probably better books out there. And probably better articles about the economy in Puerto Rico and everything like that. I did appreciate I will go through the sources and read, because I think there were some like articles and things like that he mentioned that I would really like to read, because I think they might be more helpful. So yeah, this was Editing Roxanne. I don't know where my clips went. It's so frustrating. Hello everyone, happy Thanksgiving. I look a hot mess. I have not started to get ready for dinner later tonight. Anyway, I decided to kind of just skim through the last half of Library and Unquiet History, I think it's called. Not that it was bad, I just was no longer in the mood for it. I think I'm gonna call it on Nonfiction November. It was okay this year for me. Still obviously super glad that I participated. I will always participate. I love this month. I love this reading initiative. But I just think the books that I had just ended up not being as impactful as I hoped that they would be. But I'm hoping next year will be very, very different. I hope that you all have had a lovely Nonfiction November. I hope that what you read you really enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and today is Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving. By the time that you all watch this, it might be December, so we're getting closer and closer to the Christmas holidays. And I hope you all are having a great, great time. Galileo is hanging out here with me. Oh, nope. Literally right as I'm about to show you guys, he has a little Christmas bow tie that he doesn't really care about. But yeah, I will talk to you all in the next one.